All right, today's 7.07 circles day 2. Okay, we're going to converting to standard form. All right, so first section says, what if the equation for the circle is not already in standard form? The following are all equations of circles. Can you identify the center and radius of each? Okay. So this first one here we talked about on the video. When h and k is 0, this is a circle at the origin. Okay, so the center, I'll just write as C there. It's just at the origin 0, 0. And then remember, this is r squared. So when you square root 4, you get r to be 2, which is the radius there. Okay. Next one here, we actually have h and k. So remember, opposite. So center is going to be -1, -5. Okay. Radius. Remember, this is r squared again. Okay. So take the square root of that. And so r would be equal to square root 20, which if you were to then simplify it would be 2 root 5. And there's your radius there. Now this next one, this is what we call a standard form of a conics section. We just don't know exactly which type. Okay, and so what we're going to have to do now is we're going to have to do complete in the square to come up with the center and the radius. So watch how this works. Okay, it's a little bit more complicated because now we're dealing with x squared and y squared. So we're going to have to do multiple parts of completing the square. Okay, so C, first thing for cab, right? Let's move the constant over. So it's going to look like this. We're going to have x squared. And what I also do when I do this is I line the variables next to each other. So x's get close to each other, y's get close to each other. So we're going to have x squared plus, minus 6x. Okay, and then plus y squared plus 8y equals a -9. Okay, thankfully for a here, a is just 1, so nothing changes. And now here we go, we've got b. So what you notice here is that before in the past, like on the one day we learned completing the squares, it was just always x squared. Well, now we're going to have to do double pretty much. Okay, and so here we go. So for b, we're going to have 2. First, I'm taking this -6, dividing it by 2, and then squaring it. So that's going to give me a -3 to the second power. That's going to give me 9. Okay? So I'm going to add 9 to the right side. Okay? I also have to do it for the y value as well. See how 8y, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do 8 divided by 2 squared. So it gives me 4 squared, which is then equal to 16. And so now it's going to look like this because we're going to add stuff in. So we're going to have now x squared minus 6x. What did I do? -3 to the second power 9. I'm going to add 9 there. Plus y squared. 8 divided by 2 gives me y squared plus 8y. 4 squared, right, gives you 16. All equals now -9. And what we had to do here is we have to now add the 9 and 16 to balance it. Remember, whatever you add to the left side, you can add to the right side. And so then your equation is going to look like this. Okay, how do we factor this down? Well, remember, whenever you divide b by 2, whatever you get there for that, that's what it factors down to be. So it's going to be x minus 3 to the second power plus y, 8 divided by 2 gives you 4, y plus 4 to the second power, and then here we go, we add all this together, -9 plus 9 is 0, plus 16 gives you 16. So there you go. So there's your standard form there of the circle. And so then that means then my center would be +3, -4, and the radius, remember that's r squared again, is equal to 4. And pretty much that is the whole process there. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to look at 2 of these, work them all the way out, and then graph as well. Okay, so again, first things first here is let's go ahead, C, move our constant over. So that means it's going to be x squared plus, I put the x's together, plus y squared minus 4y equals 7. Again, just like that last example, a is equal to 1, so we don't have to do anything there. Thank God, that makes it very easy. And now b, so now we're going to take both of the coefficients that are next to the single undefined variable, so 10 and negative 4, we're going to divide them by 2. So I'm going to do 10 divided by 2 to the second power, so 10 divided by 2, that's 5. 5 squared equals 25. Do the same thing for the y value too. So negative 4 divided by 2 to the second power, that gives you negative 2 to the second power, positive 4. So now let's look how that changes. So we're adding that to the left side. So now I'm going to have this. I'm going to have x squared plus 10x plus 25 plus y squared minus 4y plus 4 equals 7. And then we added 25 and 4, so we must also add that to the right as well. Plus 25 plus 4. So now let's go ahead and let's factor that down. So what do we do here? When we did 10 divided by 2, we got 5. So we know, based on our shortcut, this is going to factor down to be x plus 5 to the second power. Plus, right here, same thing, negative 4 divided by 2 gave me a negative 2. So we know it's going to be y minus 2 to the second power. And then 7 plus 4 is 11. 11 plus 25, that is 36. So then if we were to go ahead and find the center now, opposite h and k, so that would be negative 5, positive 2. Radius, remember this is equal to r squared. When you take the square root of 36, you get 6, and there's your radius. So we'll just go over here and graph that real quick. Actually, I'm going to move it over a little bit here, actually. I'm going to go over 12, because we make sure we have enough room. But I'll still go horizontal at 10. Okay? And so now let's go ahead and graph that. So negative 5, 2. And then our radius is 6, so we're just going to go up 6. Left 6. Down 6. And then right 6. And there you go, and then you're just going to connect all the points. So not the best circle there, but I mean, you get the point. Okay. All right, last one here on the notes. Now this one gets a couple extra steps here because now we don't have a equal to 1 anymore. So first off, constant moves over there. So c is going to look like this. It's going to be now 4x squared minus 8x plus 4y squared plus 32y now equals 2 plus 170, 172. So now this time, a is equal to 4. So now we must do this. It's going to look at this. You've got to factor that out. So when you factor out the 4 there in the front, you're going to be left with x squared minus 8 divided by, negative 8 divided by 4 is a negative 2. Plus factor out the 4 here as well. Now you're going to be left with y squared. 32 divided by 4, that's 8y. Equals 172. Now we're going to get to b here. We're going to take both the negative 2 and the 8 divided by 2 and then square it. So we get negative 2 divided by 2 to the second power. So negative 2 divided by 2, that's a negative 1 to the second power, which is 1. So remember, when you add this, though, whatever you factor out, you got to multiply it by what you're adding as well. So we'll do that here in a second. Don't want to get ahead of myself. Now let's go ahead and look at the y value as well. 8 divided by 2 to the second power. That equals 4 to the second power, which then equals 16. And so now let's see what that looks like. Okay, so we're going to have this. So we're going to go 4, it's going to give you x squared minus 2x minus 1, because that's what we added. I'm sorry, positive 1, not a minus. Plus 4 y squared plus 8y plus 16 equals 172. Now, because I added a 1 here, but I also factored out that 4, you got to do plus 4 times 1 plus, same thing here, since you add the 16, you factor out that 4 though, it's 4 times 16. Okay? So make sure you recall that whenever a is not 1, you have to, whatever you add by completing the square, you have to also multiply by what you factored out at the beginning here. And so since we factored out a 4, 4 times 1, 4 times 16. Okay? Let's go ahead now, it's factored, so we're going to get this 4 out front. Okay, how does this factor down? Well, when I did negative 2 divided by 2, I got a negative 1, so it's going to be x minus 1 to the second power plus 4 times, what did I get here? 8 divided by 2 gave me 4, so we're going to do y plus 4 to the second power equals 172 plus 4, that is, I'm going to have to use a calculator here, I can't think of that off the top of my head, sorry. 172 plus 4 plus, what is 16 times 4? Okay, gives me 240. Now we've got one extra step here. If you notice, the standard form of our circle never has a value factored out in front of it. So what we're going to do is whatever we factor out front here, we're going to go ahead and divide everything through by 4. And so what is that going to leave me with? That's going to leave me with now x minus 1 to the second power plus y plus 4 to the second power. Now all equals 240 divided by 4 gives you 60. And there you go. So there's my equation now in standard form. So I want to make sure I square all of these, sorry. Okay, there's my standard form right there. Let's go ahead. Label my center. So my center opposite h and k, so it's going to be 1, negative 4. And then for the radius, that's r squared. So it's square root of 60, which for graphing, I need to approximate that. So I just do square root of 60 in the calculator. I hit the conversion, and that's equal to 7.7. So what I need to do is when I do my graph here, I'm probably going to pull the x-axis up a couple of points here. So we're going to go. So I'm going y, the y-axis is going to be 10 over. The x-axis, though, I'm going to pull up a little bit here. So I'm going to get I'm going to go that route. And so I'm going to go over 1 down 4. There's my center. And then to graph the circle, you're just going to go up 7.7, down 7.7, right 7.7, left 7.7. So we're going to go right 7.7. We're going to go up 7.7. Left. All right, so there you go. So I counted, like I said, up, down, left, right, 7.7, and now I'm just going to connect them. Okay. All right, that is the last day of circles. Make sure you are practicing completing the square. Okay, it can be a little confusing. But I think once you guys do a couple of these, you'll be fine. So there's 4 questions on the back for homework. Okay, I will talk to you guys in class tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.